Now, whether you like it or not, I think it's a safe assumption that you know who Matthew Patrick is. He's an American YouTuber who makes videos theorizing on games, media, and food. Why food? In this video, I want to discuss how he, who is supposed to be like the big smart guy who tells everyone what to think, fails to acknowledge the like basic parts of making a video. Okay, does this sound better? Yes, okay. So before I start, I just want to address that Matt isn't the problem. It's just his content. In his live streams, you can see what he's like without a script, and it's fine. I mean, it's not really for me, because I find someone being forcefully cheery to be disgusting. But, like, whatever. Some people can find enjoyment out of it, and that's great. I'm glad that people enjoyed this stuff.
You will die. Your friends will die. Your loved ones will all die.
First, he, for some reason, lacks any ability to understand context. As an example, take this video.
Further, what if I were to tell you that one fish, Dory, has been lying to us the whole time?
Huh?
If Finding Dory was aiming to be a completely realistic documentary about people, then yes, Matthew would have a point. I can't really say that I can verify if what he's saying is true, but sure. The issue is, the writers making this movie weren't aiming for it to be realistic in the first place. Whether he likes it or not, kids are stupid. Yes, that includes me. When you make a movie for them, you have to account for the fact that they're not going to understand complex, like, situations. Everything about the movie has to be tailored to them, not the adults watching. Real quick, for the people who haven't watched the video, I don't blame you, and it's about how Dory's faking her amnesia because she doesn't show correct symptoms of it, blah 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 blah. Anyways, it is hard for a child to comprehend the idea of someone forgetting something but being able to recall it subconsciously. It is so much easier to just portray it as being forgetful, because in a way, everyone is at least a little forgetful. It's not that hard. You know what it is hard to grasp? Well, I can't remember stuff, but if you give me a puzzle and ask me to do it, then I can do it just fine. Hell, that's hard for me to wrap my head around, and I have a high enough IQ to understand Rick and Morty. Like, come on, take context into account when you make these videos. Here's another example.
One question, did Beth choose to stay, or did she replace herself with a clone?
Rick and Morty, oh hey, Rick and Morty, I just mentioned that, is a show for adults. You want to know what adults can do? They can concept grasp arguments. Wait, what did I shoot? Hold on. Adults can concept... I did it again! Adults can grasp complex arguments. In this example, the problem is Matthew is taking things into account that the writers didn't. Yes, they went out of their way to change the clocks, but that is ridiculously obsolete. In fact, I'd make the argument that the people who did that weren't even the writers. And the whole bit about the penitentiary... I don't know how to say the word, hold on. If I'm being honest, the last time I heard that word was this.
Television's best character of the 20th century! Cross passes me and I'll send you to a penitentiary!
Anyways, that whole bit, no. The writers of Rick and Morty did not concern themselves with finding what
penitentiary
it was. Here goes my extremely long rant I made about this. I don't know why I wrote all this down. Plus, after watching the episode, it is never shown what vehicle they're driving. Matthew tries to make a point that they used a car because Rick and Beth walked through the front door and Tommy can't know about science.
We know that they drive home and don't use the portal gun because we see them actually walk through the front door. This also makes sense since they were transporting Tommy, who needed to stay unaware of Rick's crazy scientific schemes.
But that comes with a lot of paths to follow. First, Tommy knowing about Rick's science isn't needed. Flying isn't cloning, and for some reason people in the show really don't care about the flying. In Look Who's Perching Now, Artrisha points it out, but, like, doesn't do anything, and in a Mortykin Grick Feedy, Bruce just kind of accepts it as a fact. In other words, the spaceship is just considered normal. Hi, so at this point in the video, I went into a whole spiel about how Beth couldn't have driven a car because she didn't have a car, and then I finished editing that entire part, and then I was going back over the video, and I was getting B-roll for it, and then guess what I saw? I saw her getting into a car that isn't Cherry's. So that's why there's a weird jump here. Especially since, and I don't know about you on this one, but if I see a spaceship, my first thought isn't gonna be that I'm a clone.
I need that sweet brown liquid in my mouth!
There's also the theories which don't just lack context, they just aren't logical. In the video about Thanos being able to lift Thor's hammer, or more accurately, anyone being able to lift Thor's hammer, he makes seemingly solid points about how Thanos could lift it, and if you squint I could genuinely understand how that would work. The problem is with the line,
Worthiness isn't about being right or wrong, it's about intention. How pure is your desire to help?
In other words, Thanos thinks he's helping, so he's worthy. Matthew, you can't build a point based on what we've seen.
It is, in his mind, a noble mission, and based on what we've seen about how the hammer works, worthiness isn't about being right or wrong, it's about intention. How pure is your desire to help?
When we haven't seen that. You can't just say we've seen that. In his video about the lore of Grubhub, which I genuinely cannot believe exists unironically in this universe, Matthew says this.
The only explanation for this is that Milkshake Lady's scenes must be flashbacks to several years prior, before Chicken Sandwich Baby was born. And this could explain why Chicken Sandwich Guy and Milkshake Lady are never seen in the same room together. 3 years after the birth of their child, Milkshake Lady is no longer around, and Chicken Sandwich Guy is doing the single dad thing, but he still misses her terribly. And ordering Grubhub takes him to a happier mental place, the red place where they can be together again.
Hi, this is editing me recording this because I kind of screwed up on the line. Matthew has looked at two people who have a kid together and don't live together, and the first thing he thought of was that they broke up. You know that people who don't live together can have children, right? Like, that's a thing that can happen. Also, what the hell are you talking about? And this Jimmy Neutron one is even worse.
Now, obviously, a lot of attention's been paid to the delivery dance ad starring Chicken Sandwich Guy, but I'd like to begin with one of the lesser-known ads starring Taco Guy. When I first saw this ad, I said to myself, Taco Guy looks kinda like Jimmy Neutron all grown up. After all, it's not every day that you see a 3D animated dude with dazzling blue eyes and cartoonishly tall brown hair. Plus, Taco Guy is about the age that Jimmy Neutron would be in the present day.
His proof is that the two look similar, and a kid in one ad has an Atom shirt. First, the kids in the ad have yellow shirts, meaning it's just objectively not the same shirt. And second, it's not Jimmy's shirt, it's just a shirt with an atom on it. 3 electrons isn't special. Almost all of the first Google results show 3 electrons. It's just a good number since 4 is crowded and 3 doesn't get the point across. 2 doesn't get the point across, oh my god. Plus, Taco Guy, as he puts it, doesn't even look like Jimmy. Jimmy's like 50% forehead, and Taco Guy doesn't even have a forehead. The lower half of Taco Guy's head is giant for proportions, but Jimmy barely has a chin. How did anyone at all think these were similar? And you know what? You know what immediately proves that these aren't the same person? In Jimmy Neutron, the show itself, we see Jimmy in the future. We see adult Jimmy. Funny how Matthew just casually ignores that. And he says that Taco Guy must be a genius or something, because his phone magically makes tacos appear. Once again, MatPat is just completely ignoring context, because of course they'd want their food to seem instant. It's an advertisement! And not only is it an advertisement, but it's a 15-second one, where they can't spare the liberties to make someone come to the door, because that would take too long.
Right? I'm gonna start peeing everywhere to assert my dominance.
And look, I don't care if he makes these insane videos rambling about nonsensical BS. It's clearly working out for him. My problem is how people watch these videos. I feel like you can make a chain of social authority where one person points out the flaws of another person and then a third person does it to that person, and you build up and up and up based on how much of an open mind you have. But for some reason, nobody is doing anything about this. Nobody is pointing out the flaws of this, and now children, and let's be honest, idiots, are believing this stuff at face value. And what's happening is these people are so smug about the responses, like they know they're right, like there is no possible way that they could possibly be wrong. And they could be so convinced they're right because someone else did their research for them. How have we gotten to a place where seeing someone else make a video about something means you did your research? Like, you are now an authority.
I'm just saying, maybe the bees are working for Hitler.
At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter if he changes or not. Hell, he probably likes where he is now. I don't know where I was going with this anyways. I mean, unlike in my previous 2 videos, there's not really anything he needs to do. I'm sure he's fine with whatever he's doing, and that's great. If anyone is getting deals with Disney and Nickelodeon, I'm glad it's the one who chooses to use their platform to educate children among the shopping yards of YouTubers who see it as their lifelong goal to turn Gen Z into a generation completely drained of substance and personality. And hey, if the reality we live in is the one where knowing the percent chance of a New York rat stepping on a button is more prevalent in children than to, say, cook, then so be it. After all, it's always better than to not know anything at all. Just, again, the thing I want to see change is how people look at him. Us viewers, and especially children, I know teens are children, shut up, have habits of, as soon as someone points out something we like has flaws, we immediately treat them as the authority with no second opinions. Like, sure, watch Game Theory, I don't care, but when you do it, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research. Watch it with the understanding that he's not always going to be right, and the only one who should be able to definitively tell you what is subjectively correct is you. Okay, bye-bye.